Hello everyone, so here we are again with another video where we are discussing the blueprint of the 10th math paper 2020-21. Actually the paper is totally based, this blueprint is totally based on the sample paper released by the CBSE and it is on the standard pattern, standard paper. So let us start the discussions here, let us start the discussions of the video. Actually your paper consists of the two parts, part A and part B. Part A consists of the two sections which are explained there as this. Two sections of part B are containing the section 1 consisting of the understanding based question, totally short type, very short type questions. These are 16 questions carrying one question per mark and the total weightage of the question is 16. Further, the CBSE is this time providing the internal choice in these questions. You know, in the previous papers questions, what happened? There were the MCQs, but in this year, there is no MCQ. The MCQ has been changed into another new pattern which is introduced in this year. So first of all, these 16 understanding based questions are carrying the total 16 marks and these are carrying 5 internal choices. 5 questions are carrying the internal choices. Further, as I just explained that the new introduction of a new type of questions is case study. Case study questions, 4 questions. There are 4 case study questions carrying 4 marks. You know what happened this? In the case study questions, you are given the special conditions. And based on that conditions, you are just given the 5 MCQs. And from these MCQs, you have to do only 4 questions. From these 5 MCQs, you have to do only the 4 questions. You have to attempt only 4 questions. So it carries 16 marks. That is, each question is carrying the internal choice. Okay, the total MCQ. So these are the total case study based questions which carrying the 16 marks. 4 questions. Each question is carrying 5 choices. Out of 5 MCQs, you have to attempt only 4. Clear? So this was the total explanation of the part A. Part A, which consists of 2 sections. Section 1, understanding based, 16 questions carrying 16 marks. Section 2, case study, 4 questions carrying 4 marks per question, that is total of 16. So in this way, the section A is consisting of total of 20 questions and the weightage of the marks is 32. Weightage of the marks is 32. Now let us go for the part B. Part B, further consisting of the 3 sections. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Section 1 consisting of the very short type questions, 6 questions carrying 2 marks per question and the total weightage it is carrying 12 marks. Internal choice is given in between the 2 questions from the section B. From the section 1 of the part B. Further, section 2 of the part B, SAT, that is short answer type questions. There would be 7 short answer type questions carrying 3 marks per question and the total weightage would be 21. Further, 2 internal choices are there. Then section 3, long answer type. Long answer type means carrying 3 questions having 5 marks per question and the total weightage of these long answer type would be 15. And the internal choices there is 1. So in this way, section B is containing 16 questions. 6 plus 7, 13 plus 3, 16 questions. Total weightage of these questions is 48. So section A consisting of 20 and section B consisting of 16 questions. So the total paper is consisting of 36 questions and the total weightage of the marks is 32 plus 48, 18 weightage. Okay. So this was the total section wise. Now let's have another look on the total brief explanation, brief bifurcation of the paper. That is one other aspect of the distribution, which is the chapter wise distribution. Chapter wise distribution of the question paper. Look. Further, I am just saying that this explanation is totally based on the sample paper released on the CBSE. And you know, as when the CBSE released paper, more than 95% of the paper resembles the same pattern. The questions are different, but the pattern and the number of questions from the each unit would be same. So let's have the look on the same. Real numbers. In the standard paper, real number is carrying 1 marks, 1 question, 2 marks, 1 question, 3 marks, 1 question. The total weightage of the real marks would be 6. Further, in the same way, polynomial, 1 question of 1 marks, 1 question of 2 marks and the total weightage and the 1 question. This 4 marks, actually the paper is not containing any 4 marks question. Keep this in mind. So this 4 marks question, that this column, This column containing the 4 marks question is not on the pure questions. This is the case study based questions. The sample paper is containing the case study based questions from these chapters: polynomials, triangles, coordinate geometry, and the statistics. So the 4 marks question, there would be no 4 mark question in the paper, but these 4 mark questions that I have just written there, mentioned there, these are on the case study based questions. Okay, so keep this in mind. There would be no 4 mark question except the case study questions. Then linear equation, 2 questions of 1 marks and 1 question of 5 marks. Long type would be linear equation, 2 variables, so it is containing 7 marks. Further, quadratic equations, 2 questions of 1 mark, 1 question of 3 mark, total weightage is 5 mark. AP, really doubtful, really shocking, but this time the sample paper is containing only 1 question of 1 marks of AP, which is a little bit different, a little bit shocking. That's why I've just put a star with these type of, the star marked questions are here, just indicating that there is the possibility of changes in these questions. There is the possibility of changes in the questions from these units, which are marked star. So triangles, 1 question of 1 marks, 1 question of 3 marks, and 1 question of 4 marks, and the total weightage of the triangles would be 8 marks. Coordinate geometry, 1 question carrying 2 marks, 1 question carrying 4 marks, and the total weightage would be 6 marks. In the same way, introduction to the trigonometry. Let's come to the next part. Introduction to the trigonometry. 2 questions of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 marks, and the total is 4. Once again, the star is marked here because introduction to the trigonometry is the most important chapter from the maths, and it is given only 4 mark weightage in the sample paper. So there would be the possibility of changes there. There are the possibilities. It can be changed. Next, some applications of the trigonometry. Some application of trigonometry from the sample paper is containing only 1 question of 3 marks and 1 question of 5 marks, and the total weightage it is carrying 8 marks. Then comes to the circles. There are 2 questions of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 mark, and the total number of questions is 4. Total weightage of these questions is 4. Further, constructions, 1 question of 1 mark and 1 question of 2 marks. 3 carrying the 3 weightage, weightage of 3 marks. Then area related to circles, carrying only 1 question of 3 marks and the weightage is 3. Surface area and volumes. From the sample paper, the surface area volume is containing 2 questions of 1 marks and 1 question of 5 marks. That is the long type, and the total weightage is 7. Once again, very shocking it is that statistics in the sample paper is giving the most weightage. There are 2 questions carrying 3 marks and 1 is the sample based, case study based question, that is question carrying 4 marks, and total weightage it is given 10. And the probability, once again, given only 1 question of 1 mark and it is carrying the weightage of only 1 marks. So this is the whole classification. This is the whole classification of the paper. This is the whole bifurcation of the paper, which is chapter-wise bifurcation of the whole paper that I have just explained here. There are some possibilities of changes as I explained. The units carrying star here, I have just marked star for these because there are the possibility of changes in this question. So totally there are 16 1 mark questions, 6 2 mark questions, 7 3 marks question, 4 questions carrying the 4 marks which are the purely case study based questions, and 3 questions are the long type. Total number of questions is 16 plus 6 22, 29, 33, 36, and the total weightage of the paper is 80. So this is the total and the briefly explained bifurcation of the chapter wise distribution of the question paper as per CBSE sample paper, released in 2020-21. So this is the section wise, section part B, part A, carrying 16 questions of understanding base, having 16 marks with the 5 internal choices, 4 question case study, having each question is carrying 1 internal choice because each question from the case study is having 5 MCQs and every student has to attempt only 4 out of these 5 MCQs. Then part B as explained, and then the whole chapter wise distribution. Hope you got a lot of help with this blueprint of the paper, so that because it helps you to make your charts, make your preparations along the same way. Now, first and the foremost is how to attempt the paper. As you already know that firstly you have to go for those questions which are totally sure in your minds, but the only new introduction here is this case study. For case study, it is my kind advice to every student just to have a clear reading of the case that you are given, because the MCQs are totally hidden in the case. MCQs are totally hidden in the case. You can go for these MCQs, you can create these MCQs in your mind by the case, by the diagrams that are given to you along with the case studies, and only then you can be able. Case studies are quite simple. If you go, these are quite simple, totally understanding based and totally from the objective point where you have to test it about. Okay, further, if you are getting a pure knowledge of the long type questions, short type questions, very short type questions, then it's my kind advice to go for first only those questions which are totally clear in your mind, because the questions that you put aside for trying would be attempted in the last, because it will take a longer time, and the questions which are you are having total idea of the questions, if you are having, then you can go for that questions first. Okay guys, thanks for the watching the video. This is the total blueprint of the 10th math sample paper. Thank you. Have a nice day.